What's going on, everybody? My name is Vincent Van Ghool, and welcome back to Van Ghool Reviews. Now, today, we're talking about the debut self-titled album from a band from Pennsylvania called Cold Blood Creep. This is an 11-song album released on January 19th, 2021. It clocks in at 37 minutes, 15 seconds. I was asked to do this by their bass player, Mr. Clint Swigart. I apologize if I got your name wrong. So let's get into this, shall we? So the first song is called Graveyard Games. It clocks in at 2 minutes and 58 seconds. We open up on some drums and bass, and I really like that bass line. Then the guitar comes in with a nice pick scrape, and we're off. Then the vocals will come in, and I don't know if I've really ever heard anything like this before. It's really good. The vocalist, Jamie, straight killer. After the first verse is a guitar solo that's not particularly flashy. Then it goes right back into the vocals. There's not a lot of low end, but everything is fairly even in the mix. Not a lot of woes like you would expect from a band in our scene, but that's fine. You don't necessarily have to have those. There's a second, smaller guitar solo before it drops back into the way it came in with the bass and the drums, but this time, Jamie is singing over the top of it. Then we go back into the chorus. I really enjoy the way this song flows, okay? I just find myself wishing there was a bit more of the low end, but this is really good for what it is. It's really good rock. Not particularly punky, but I do like it. The second track is called Crown of Ashes, and it comes in at 2 minutes and 50 seconds. We again open on bass, then the rest of the band kicks in with something that sounds like, to me, something you'd hear on the Crow soundtrack. I really like the vocals here. I like the harmonies and the screaming. The guitar is real fun, and I love the chorus. I just wish it were a bit longer, though. This one leans a bit more on the metal side of things, with the palm muting and held chords, the level of distortion. Usually, horror bands, not unlike my own, we use more fuzz than distortion. But I really like that they decided to go with full-on distortion here. I think it fits for what they're doing. I think they're trying intentionally to be different from other horror bands out there, so it works. There's another killer solo that sits pretty well in the mix. I'm saying whoever mixed this did a fantastic job for the most part. It kicks back into the chorus. The drums, to me, on this one feel like something that Dr. Chud would have played. Again, though, I find myself wishing there was a bit more bottom end. You know what I'm saying? So track 3 is called The Jackal. It's 3 minutes and 9 seconds. I particularly enjoyed the opening riff. The song's very, very rhythmic. You find yourself getting sucked into that rhythm and just like vibing on that. I really like the way that they would open each couplet in the chorus with the background vocals with the screens. There's really abrupt transitions going from part to part. But the vocals are really clear on this. There's kind of a key switch really briefly right before the guitar solo, and I thought that was really fun. And I feel like the song is just mostly chorus, but that's okay. Sometimes we need that sort of thing. It's the songs that are mostly chorus are the songs that you can play at parties. And this, I feel like, would be a pretty good fit for that. And I really like the way the song itself ends. We move on to track 4, called Trigger, and it's 4 minutes and 17 seconds. And I really, really get a Megadeth feel from this one, right? Because I think it's a lot of the way because of the way that the riffs are structured and the way that Jamie chooses to do his vocal melodies. It gives off a bit of a Dave Mustaine Megadeth. I like the slowdown at about a minute in. Makes the song a bit more interesting, if you ask me. The way they use double bass on this, it's not the driving factor of the song like a lot of bands will do with double bass. They'll use double bass to, drive the song. They're using it more like flavor here, and I love that. All right. Um, I do find myself wondering about the recording process. Like, did they get together as a whole band and do it? Because that's how it feels to me. Because there's good chemistry. Um, I like the little bit of a bridge that we get here. It has a slight maidenish quality to me. You can definitely feel that these guys grew up steeped in classic metal. Megadeth, Maiden, Priest, those sort of things. And it comes out in the way that they play. And I just love that. This is a song that I would definitely recommend to somebody who mostly listens to Sabbath and Priest and such and go, hey, you might like this. This is Cold Blood Creep. Put this song on to get their attention. I really like the way that they just drive into the end and how it ends with Clint kind of noodling on the bass of it. As a bassist myself, I approve of that. Track 5 is called Elizabeth, and it is 3 minutes and 39 seconds. Again, we open with Clint's bass before kicking into something that's a bit heavier. That reminds me somewhat of Let's Get Loud. And I really like the vocal melody on the chorus. And the guitar work on this song is really good. The lyrics are really cool. I feel like this is one of those songs like My Sweet Elena by 5 Cent Freak Show or my song Return of the Loving Dead. So I like that because it comes across as a horror-based love song, which I love horror-based love songs. I listen to My Elena quite a bit. I covered it. I did one myself with Return of the Living Dead. I noticed that it kicks back to the first verse when the third is supposed to start, which is something I do with my music, so I can't really complain about that. But it fits, is the thing. And so far, I gotta say, Elizabeth is my favorite song on the album to this point. It's just good, you know what I mean? Track 6 is called Meth Head Minotaur, and it's 3 minutes and 48 seconds long. It opens on the guitar playing this really kind of fun riff that kind of bounces around in my headphones a little bit at first, before the rest of the band kicks in on a bit of a downbeat, down-paced little piece, and then it speeds back up. It's definitely an odd song, to be sure, but it fits into the general scheme of what I feel like Cold Blood Creep is trying to do with this album. This one, I feel, kind of shows a more bluesy quality to Cold Blood Creep, which I'm really enjoying here. The opening lines of the chorus are likely to get stuck in my head. And after the second repetition of the chorus is a bit of a more bluesy guitar solo. And I really wish the bass were a bit more present and loud here. I can tell that the band had fun writing and performing this, and that's a big thing for me. Like, that to me is really important. There's another guitar solo that drops, and I can actually hear what the bass is doing in the back just a little better. I really am enjoying what Clint's doing back there, you know what I mean? There's another repetition of the chorus, and then they hit the end with Jamie holding out Door as the band winds down. It's a fun song, I recommend. Track 7 is halfway into the last day, and it has a runtime of 4 minutes and 22 seconds. We open on more guitar riffing, and it sounds like some whammy bar work going on. It's very dark and brooding sounding riff. And then it goes like full thrash. And then drops back down to moderate tempo. Get a little bit of whiplash. It's fun. The tempo changes come real quick before the vocals kick in, and they are loud and in your face, just as they should be. There's a lot of chugging here, very rhythmic feeling on this song too. There's a part where the guitar starts playing something and Jamie starts following that. All vocalists will do that. And I feel like this is something you'd hear in an 80s slasher movie, and it would fit wonderfully. Like, I can picture Michael Myers following someone with this playing behind him. You know what I mean? We have another tempo shift, about 2.5 minutes in, which gets accompanied by the almighty whoa-whoa, then going back into that thrashy bit, and then it slows back to mid-tempo. It's like a soft reset. The chorus is really, really catchy, and I caught myself singing along after a little bit of listening here. I really like the repetition of the song title itself toward the end, and it ends with sounds like the guitar being hit hard on the whammy with a bit of slapback echo on it. Track 8 is called Go Drop Dead, and it's sitting at 2 minutes and 36 seconds. Got the whole band opening on this one with a really nice riff and some heavy drums before kicking into a similar sound as kind of the rest of the album with an odd end to the riff. Then it kicks into the meat of the song, and we get a few tempo changes. The vocal melody is way different from what we've gotten before. The rhythm is really, really fun. And I feel like, based on Jamie's vocals, he had a whole lot of fun recording this one and writing this one. When you can get that sort of feeling off of what any member of a band is doing, it elevates the song, in my opinion. And this is certainly being elevated by the fact that Jamie seems to be enjoying himself. This one's definitely a headbanger to me. The solo's a bit more technical than the last few, and I like that the vocalist, he stays singing on the solo in a bit of a more subdued way than he would normally be singing. I feel like it adds a fullness to the song. The ending is pretty fun with the hits it does, and then the fade out. I think that really tied the song up well. Track 9 is called Best Murder Dress, and it is 2 minutes and 25 seconds. The drums count us in, then there's a slide on the from the bass into some really heavy chugging before Jamie comes in with his vocals. I've really been enjoying the drums on this record so far, and this song's really good on the drums. I find myself wanting to hear the chorus more, because the chorus is fantastic. Between this one and Elizabeth, not really sure which one I like more at this point. The way the singer does the arsenic line, I find myself wishing that he would sing more like that. I really like that. Again, the drums really stand out to me on this one. Though the guitar's pretty good too. Like, I really enjoy what he's doing at this point. Again, we have my favorite thing, the abrupt ending. I love abrupt endings. With a bit of delay on there. It's a good song, though. I'm not going to say anything negative, because it's actually a really fun song. Track 10 is called Vengeance is Mine. It's 2 minutes and 51 seconds. It opens up on a really cool drum fill. Then the whole band drops in. This one, to me, has a real Danzig-y feel. This, to me, is one that had a lot of work put into it. Like, especially on the chorus. Which is really fun. I like the use of the words "vengeance is mine" throughout the song. The riffs are really cool, and I really dig the solo. It's all very Danzig-y feeling to me, as I said earlier. Also, it's slightly different from everything else so far as the structure of the song. Like the point at about 2 minutes and 20 seconds where everything just drops out, and then it comes back leading into a very bombastic ending with the entire band. It sounds like the way you'd end a song Live on stage, kind of the final song of the set with the constant dun, 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 you know what I mean? Track 11 is the final track of this album, by the way, is called Please Bleed For Me. Sits at 4 minutes 15 seconds. It opens up with the bass and the guitar and drops into an almost like 50s feeling piece with both clean and distorted guitars, which I wasn't actually expecting them to do. The bass is sitting really high in the mix, and I appreciate that. The vocals are good, and it really suits what's going on. Jamie has a really good ear for when he's supposed to do what vocally. I said I wanted a bit more actual singing, and here we're getting pretty much full-on crooning. I really like the transitions between the parts a whole lot. They're a lot, to me, a lot smoother. The chorus is the real highlight here for me. Everything sits really well, and I think I'd compare most of the vocals to how Till Lindemann of Rammstein on the slower Rammstein songs like Rosenrot. The solo reminds me a bit of God Gave Rock and Roll to You by Kiss, insofar as like the tone. Okay. I like that it was layered, like there's layers to the solo. And I think that beefed up that solo quite a bit here. That line, you say that you're my baby, then please bleed for me. Best line of the album, in my opinion. Love that. It repeats that pretty much through to the end of the song, and then it has, again, my favorite thing, the abrupt ending. And I think that was the proper way to end this song. Now, I really enjoy this album, and for a debut, it's really, really good. I just wish that there had been more bottom end, and the bass was just a touch louder, because I could tell that there was a lot going on there, and that a lot of people may not be able to hear it, unfortunately. Were I to judge based on this, I'd say it's a good blueprint was laid out for future releases, and whatever comes next is going to be insane. I really like the drums. They have a fantastic drummer. And I think the guitar was really good, and the vocalist is fantastic. He's just dynamite. So if you want a combination of classic metal and horror, then this is definitely your band. I'd recommend this to fans of like Iron Maiden, Megadeth, that style of music, as well as like horror punks looking to branch out from the Misfits style that we all love and most of us artists tend to get stuck in. This will get more play from me for sure, and I can't wait to hear what it is they do next. I'm really excited about that. I'd really like to see them live, as a matter of fact. I feel like they'd have a pretty good live show. Overall, though, I hear you asking, what would I give the debut album by Cold Blood Creep? I'd say 3.5 pumpkins out of 5. I feel like there wasn't a lot of low end, and that there was a little sameness, but that aside, it's a really good album from really competent musicians who really kind of know where it is they're going on each song. I really enjoyed every little bit of this album. Now, as always, links will be in the description. Check out my other videos, like my review of Contagious and Versions from the Other Side by Jamie Rottencorpse and the Rising Dead. The videos of my music, such as my acoustic stuff under my name, Vincent Van Ghool, my stuff from The Creepers, and also the Plague Bearer track that I have up here too. I believe it's Rise of the Easterling. I want to say thank you for spending your time with me. I have been Vincent Van Ghool, and remember, we may be freaks, but we are not alone, and long live the horror.